Hey guys, a bit shorter video today, but I wanted to talk about the final release of Dead Cells, and something it's incorporated that I haven't really seen another game do before. I did a video on Dead Cells right after it entered early access last year, and I got hooked on it for a good while back then, but that was before they've added the vast majority of features that it has now. In case you're unfamiliar, it's a combat-focused roguelite Metroidvania. Yes, you heard that right. Procedurally generated runs with permadeath, but the new abilities you gain unlock alternate pathways as you progress. Now, there's a ton more items, more unlockable runes, more areas to explore, and it's overall much more difficult as well. But when everything starts to line up and you watch certain synergies combine to become overpowered as heck, it can be extremely satisfying. Basically, the entire game is a lot more balanced, and it's exactly what you would hope for as a final product after seeing its potential earlier in development. But there's something that caught my attention that I wasn't expecting Dead Cells to include, a curious option called Streamer Mode. This allows the game to link up with your Twitch account, so that your audience can interact with the game through stream chat. Anytime the game needs an input from your viewers, it'll put a prompt on screen and tell them what to type in. And this will vary from voting on which area to head toward next, and choosing how to build your character's upgrades, to more involved mechanics like becoming one of the bosses, or taking control of this adorable little guy, Captain Chicken, allowing them to be in charge of your healing potions. It adds in chests that will only open if your chat types words like bam, poof, pow, smack, and they can even pick certain modifiers for the next stage you're about to enter, which can either be helpful, like increasing the number of times you can jump in the air, or very hurtful, like thick fog turning enemies invisible, or a darkness that kills you as you stray away from the light. This is where things got really interesting for me. I thought it'd be a cooperative effort to include your viewers on your adventure, but they can be just as much of a hindrance as a benefit. In fact, the bosses are especially challenging, since they can launch special attacks specific to streamer mode only, like a horde of enemies or beams of energy falling from the sky. You can request to be healed by your chicken comrade, but chat can actually block their ability by typing no heal, or the captain can also decide to be cruel and just not follow your requests. It's fascinating, albeit a bit frustrating as a player. It certainly requires you to understand that things are gonna get a little zany and not quite like the single player experience. I might get upset at the cheap shots they try to pull, but I can tell that as an audience they're having a great time, especially the person that dealt the finishing blow. I got to kill Snoman, they would taunt at me later in my Discord server. Now, it's definitely not perfect. The fact that there's a stream delay makes certain actions very hard to time right. Plus, if your chat dies down a bit, it can be more difficult to function properly. But overall, it adds a ton of variety to each run, and is pretty successful at keeping your chat involved in a new and engaging way. It's essentially a win-win all around, and it made me start to think about what sort of other games could implement a feature like this. Fellow roguelites such as Spelunky or The Binding of Isaac seem to be natural contenders, since your chat could pick things like what type of floor you'll encounter, certain items to appear in the shop, or which boss you'll face next. The idea of having a little buddy to guide you along is especially enticing. I think the audience just likes to be given the spotlight now and again. If I had one critique, it's that I wish there were a few more options. There's already a plethora of things to toggle on or off, but something like still allowing a Captain Chicken, but without taking away my ability to heal, would be very welcome. Little extra pieces of polish like chat's words of encouragement popping on screen after death, or even notifications of new subscribers complete with fireworks are the perfect way to round out a feature like this. As popularity of online streaming increases, I hope we'll continue to see other games implement stuff like this in the future. What are some games you'd like to see have stream integration? Put your thinking caps on and tell me about what certain features you'd like to see in these potential games in the comments below. Huge thanks to everyone who supports me over on Twitch, and be sure to follow me on there so you don't miss a future stream. I'll see you guys next time. Stay frosty, my friends.